Well, let's talk about Jim Herd in his continued absence. Now, like, again, we've discussed this in bits and pieces since we started the podcast, but let's go point blank with a series of questions about your exit from WCW in 1991. Did Herd really want you to wear an earring, and how did he approach that? Did he tell you that, or did it get passed down?
He said it in the booking committee meeting. Said it in front of everybody. Kevin Sullivan, Cornette, whoever else was all there. Jim Ross.
And what was your response and what was their response?
Kevin Sullivan's, why don't you change Mickey Mantle's number too?
What was your response?
I was in shock. It cracked me. I told you.
Now, did Herd really want you to be the gladiator, Spartacus? Because he says no.
Yes. Who says no?
Look, wait, put that picture back up. How about this picture?
Who says no?
That's a great picture. Herd has said that he didn't say that.
That's bullshit.
Well, what did he say exactly?
As Kevin Sullivan.
But what? No, Nate, I believe you. Believe me.
Ask Cornette. Ask them all.
But what exactly did he say? How did he approach it?
I think Flair should change his hairstyle, cut his hair. That long hair is not the style right now. And I think they've seen enough of Ric Flair. We need to change his name and maybe make him a gladiator, like a Spartacus. Wear earring.
And your response?
I went downstairs and probably had as much to drink as I ever have in my life in the Albany Hotel.
Well, there you go. Now, I also heard the possibility, and I never heard this till very recently, of him wanting you to be the Zodiac Man. Did you ever hear something like that?
I don't remember that, no.
Okay, well, the less said about that, the better. Although, wasn't Bob Orton Sr. the Zodiac at one point?
Bob Orton. You mean Junior? You mean Bobby?
No, Bob Sr. Bob Sr. was Zodiac, a mascot called Zodiac at one point. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Randy's grandfather?
Yep.
I never met the Big O, but I doubt that.
Now, the big thing was he wanted you to take a pay cut, correct?
Yeah.
How big was the pay cut?
$250,000.
From what to what? What were you making?
$750 to $500.
And that's just ridiculous. That's not a cut. That's an amputation.
Yeah.
What was your response to that?
No.
Did you have an agent then or no?
Yeah, I had an attorney that double-crossed me and represented Jimmy Crockett after I introduced him to Jimmy Crockett.
So, but the stuff we're talking about with Herd, you were negotiating a face-to-face.
Yeah, and with a guy named Tom Beck.
Okay, and I assume that you gave that no even discussion.
The mistake I made was ever cutting my hair. I gave in. Look at that. It took me forever. I could never grow it back the way it was.
I don't know about that.
I never got it back that long again.
Really?
No.
Well, that takes time to grow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now, you took the big gold belt with you to WWE because you were owed a deposit. Explain that one more time. How's that deposit thing work?
Because the champion had to put on a $25,000 deposit every time we won the belt, which we got back after we lost.
And what was the rationale for that? In case you got a double crop?
Jumping territories.
Like in case you left, like you did.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but you...
I didn't leave. I got fired. He fired me.
Big difference. And you would have given the belt back and not taken it.
I got left. He fired me.
No, nobody thinks you left. We know you're good.
Everybody thinks you walked. Well, they were mad, but I walked out with, why would I give him $36,000 or whatever the money was that he owed me?
Who was mad?
Well, the boys were. I'd be mad too.
Really?
Yeah, of course they were. I'd be mad.
You heard that from them? They contacted you or?
No, but I'm sure they were disappointed. But they don't know the story. If you haven't been a champion, how do you know the story?
Well, disappointed and mad are two different things, but no, you got fired. I knew that then as now.
I said I'll drive down to Columbus and drop the title to Barry Windham all day long. I'm just not doing it at the pay-per-view until you pay me.
Right, and that's the point that people, I think, gloss over. You never would have taken the belt to New York had they paid you back the deposit, correct?
Yeah, and I just would have driven down to, but now, first of all, when I said I'd drive to Columbus, I wasn't thinking that he owed me money on the deposit. So I probably would have got there and said to him, well, before we do this, you owe me 36 grand. He may have said, kiss my ass. I probably would have drive back. Because though I knew with him, I would never get the money back. The guy that paid me the money back was Bill Watts. He never paid me back.
Oh, but it took that long for you to get it.
Yeah, a year.
Wow. I did not know that. Now,
Yes.
it didn't work out too good for WCW. I was at the Great American Bash after you left, which was right after you left. And the whole night they were chanting, "We want Flair." It was quite amazing. I'm sure you know all about that.
I do. I've heard about it, yeah. I felt bad. But
How'd you feel bad?
because you let down the crowd. You let down your friend. It's a brotherhood. You know what I mean? And there's always someone that's going to think that it was done underhandedly. It wasn't. I got fired for standing up for myself.
But nonetheless, Rick, it must have been very gratifying to hear that happened, that the fans really stuck with you and picked you in the dispute.
Well, they did momentarily, but I mean, it's like just not to bring up a bad subject, but no one's done worse to me than what Eric Bischoff did, and we sat and had beers the other night.
Right. That's true.
Fired me for going to my son's wrestling tournament. Sued me. Got up in front of 65 people and said he'd break me. Ruin my family.
Yeah.
Ask Booker T. Ask him a speech in front of everybody. Another time he got up and said the only three guys in this room that ever drew any money are Hogan, Savage, and Piper. I was sitting right there.
Now, how do you get past something like that all these years later?
I've learned it's not worth it to be upset.
Yeah, because I
Could you get over it? No.
No,
I feel like I'm a better man for getting over it, but that's a lot to get up in front of the whole locker room and tell them that they're going to break me, ruin my family, everything. As a corporate, I would have been a millionaire. Mark, I would be so cool right now if I had rode that lawsuit out, because ultimately Turner paid everybody. And this is a executive vice president saying that in front of 65 people.
No, I give you credit. You are the better man for having done that, and I don't think I could do it, to be very honest.
I don't know if anybody could.
Well, you know what I have, though, Nate? I have Irish Alzheimer's. I forget everything but a grudge.
And I still remember terminal stare.
So do I. Now, one last thing. We got to tell that. We got to tell that whole story at some point. Hurd had some other ideas like the Ding Dongs and the Hunchbacks, and he had Stan Hansen as a comedy cowboy, which made Stan say "fuck you" and go to Japan. He just wasn't a wrestling guy. To this day,
No shit.
No, but my point is, Nate, I can't believe a guy like that ever, for 1 second, got in that position of that much power.
Ask Jack Petrick. He hired him.
Wow.
You know what he sold him on? Because he was the station manager at KPLR. I know a lot about wrestling. We had him here. They were on here every Sunday. I managed the station. I know about wrestling.
Wow.